Smackdown 10-3 of the year 2025. Your amplified review begins in just a little bit. But unfortunately for the opening monologue, we will be discussing some rather depressing news coming out of AEW. More specifically, the AEW Dynamite rating for this week. This was a big 6-year anniversary special show for Dynamite, heavily promoted by Tony Khan. And the company and the fans alike really had some higher expectations in terms of viewership for the week. And this was the week that the company and fans alike were really hoping that AEW would get over that hump and maybe clinch 750,000 in viewership. It wasn't outside the realm by any means. AEW has pretty much been stuck in the 600K realm for the longest of time. Sometimes they dip into the 500s, unfortunately. And sometimes they're able to stumble into 700K. Once in a blue moon. But if there was ever a time, this was it for AEW. They were hoping there was enough hype, enough interest, and that the show was good enough from the jump to have people jump on board during the show. So 750 wasn't out of the realm. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and tragically, it went the other way. They dipped out of the 600Ks, but they went backwards. So far backwards that they jumped over the 500Ks, and they dipped into the 400,000s. 465K was their final viewership number. 465,000 viewers for Dynamite. They lost nearly 200,000 viewers from just a week previous. For an anniversary, 6-year anniversary show for Dynamite, that was pretty decently promoted. 465K. I want to tell you, as a huge, massive New York Yankees fan, that my Yankees were the sole reason, but I never use games or holidays or anything of the like. I never use that as a sole excuse. They can help make a dent, but if you're putting your best foot forward and your best product, just like back in the Attitude Era when WWF and WCW were punching back at the NFL and the numbers showed that, you should always be able to punch back. Nobody's expecting you to beat the Yankees and the Red Sox, but punch back. I mean, anybody with any semblance or realm of logic and common sense in their orbit would tell you that 465K is unacceptable no matter what you're up against. I don't care if they put every holiday together and stack them on top of one another. Thanksgiving, Christmas on top of it. Columbus Day with some Memorial Day, some Labor Day. Easter, put them all on top of each other. It's just one massive day now, one massive holiday. You better be producing more than 465K. I don't care if they had the World Series Game 7 championship being decided on top of my Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. I hope you're producing more than 465K. We all know this. We all know that's why I'm using the damn word tragic. That is so bad for the wrestling industry. This is where I tell you guys, man, it doesn't matter what you're a bigger fan of, what company. Maybe you're, quote, Team WWE. I don't know. I don't know if that's something to be proud of these days. Maybe you're Team AEW. Again, I don't know if that's how hyped you can be about that. But no matter what side of the fence you're on, if you choose to just be on one side, if there is that sense of tribalism, put all that aside for a minute. For the betterment of professional wrestling, a better AEW, a successful AEW is better for the industry. And if you're a WWE fan, that's the boot in the ass that company needs to get better. So as a WWE fan, even if you are a tribalist to WWE, you should be rooting for the success of AEW because your company will be better in the process. So, just like when WWE, we talk their ratings crashing out basically. Raw, SmackDown pulling in record lows. And we talk about it all the time, not because we want to. We'd love to be talking about all the amazing things that are happening in pro wrestling. Nobody's throwing a party because the numbers are so low. The whole point of this channel is to make wrestling great again. Make it amazing. So we're trying to help. We take facts and we expand them into amplified discussion. I'm not just giving you opinions or hot takes. I'm giving you facts so that the companies can understand what is working, what is not working, and make the correct changes to be better. But it seems nobody wants to listen in these companies. They just keep beating to their own drum. And that's great if everything's working and everything is awesome, but it's not. It is not because AEW's answer is women's tag titles. AEW's answer is Andrade. AEW's answer is Big Boom, AJ, and Big Justice, the Costco people. Costco reviewers, they're coming back at full gear. They're going to spear some of AEW's talent. That's what we need. A kid taking out AEW talent. We're the best wrestle. Yes, we're the best wrestle, and that's why they brought back Andrade, BC, because that's what they need. They have 175 individuals on that roster. 175 talents. They don't need any more. They have plenty of amazing talent, amazing wrestlers that can put on amazing wrestling matches. Now we need to see Andrade for 10, 15, or 20 minutes on a Wednesday night wrestling. Forget the fact that charisma and personality and that larger-than-life feel, all of that is lacking with Andrade, but he can put on some bangers, basically. Meltzer's gonna give it 6.5 stars, basically. That's not what AEW needs. They don't need another 5, 6, or 10-star match. They have enough talent for that. Don Callis' family doesn't need a 48th member. Don Callis, out of 175 talents in AEW, Don Callis has about 45% of the roster. Not needed. Women's tag titles. I could make something fun, basically. No, what you're doing is you're making it harder for your audience. You're making them have to remember more. What are the titles? Who's got the titles? Who's the current champions? Oh yeah, that's what it was. More titles, more talents, more titles. That's the answer for Tony Khan. More. This is what got Tony Khan into this mess. When he started and there was all this hype for AEW, everybody was excited. And before you know it, it wasn't just Dynamite. Not long after, there's a show called Rampage. I'm like, whoa, don't you want to slow it down? Don't you want to perfect Dynamite? Don't you want to get Dynamite over the hump? Don't you want to get Dynamite established? No. Tony Khan thought he was already Vince McMahon from the jump. He's like, no, I'm going to have my version of Raw and SmackDown. I'll have Dynamite and I'll have Rampage. I'm thinking, whoa, Vince McMahon waited a while before SmackDown jumped on board. Raw was established years before SmackDown. It wasn't just bing, bang, boom. That's not how this worked for Vincent Kennedy. There are steps to this. There are levels to this. So then Rampage starts really fledgling. And that affected Dynamite. Dynamite started to hurt because Rampage was hurting. So what did Tony Khan do? He said, hey, what about a third show? We're going to add Collision. A third show? You can't even get Rampage off the ground, and you couldn't even get Dynamite off the ground. Dynamite can't get 1 million. Rampage is struggling to get half. What do you think Collision's going to get? 250,000? And that's basically where they're at. I think they just got 348 this past week. 300 some odd thousand in viewership. I always thought Collision was better than Rampage anyway. Eventually, it got so bad they had to get rid of a show, and it was Rampage. It got so bad that they had to get rid of a show. So now they're back to 2. It's because Tony Khan just wanted more from the jump. Started buying other promotions. Tony Khan's got several wrestling promotions. At one point, 3 different shows, 175 talents. You would think this guy's been around for 75 years. There's layers to this, levels to this, steps to this, and you start with the baby steps. Baby steps, then crawl, then walk, then jog, then maybe start running. And then maybe when you got all that down, then you're ready for a sprint. Maybe even a marathon. Too much, too soon. And BC was waving those red flags nonstop. And all you get from the community is, it's okay, BC. It's all right, man. It's all right. It's going to be good. AEW is going to be established. They're going to be the best. They're going to do this. And I'm like, I hope. But you got to do it this way. It's just factual. You have to. I'm not just giving you how I would do it. Some things you just have to do. You can beat to your own drum. You can absolutely, quote, do things your way. But certain things have to be done a specific way, at least to get you on the track. You have to at least start off on the path. Then you could break off. But if you're not even starting off on a path and you're just aimlessly trying to knock down trees from the jump, bro, you're making it so much more difficult for yourself. You're taking the term blaze your own path a little too literally. Don't make it harder than for yourself. Start off on the path that's been created. Get smart along the way. See where you can go. See where you can veer off. Otherwise, you end up like Veer, who tried to find Monday Night Raw for 86 weeks and couldn't find it. He got lost in the woods because Veer veered off way too soon. Tony Khan, too much. More. The company is in dire straits right now. They really need a spark. So he thought women's titles was the solution. He thought bringing back Andrade is the solution. We're going to have some fun at Full Gear, guys. The Costco reviewers are coming back. Big Boom AJ and Big Justice. And I don't know which is which. I really don't. It's a son and a father combo. And they review cookies at Costco, I guess. This is what I'm told. Cookies, toilet paper, who knows what their pizza at Costco. And the son, he's a kid. I don't even think he's 18. He's spearing wrestlers already. He's beating up wrestlers. Trent Beretta, I think, was one of them. Yeah, we'll get a laugh at Full Gear. No harm, no foul, Beasley. You're missing the point. This is what we're spending our energy on. And you wonder why you're at 465,000 viewers. And if you're wondering about Max, BC, that doesn't include Max streaming. I always tell you guys, the most factual info that we have is that if they pull 650K, then you can add about 40,000 Max numbers. That's the best info that we have. There is no evidence that says they get any more than that. And I'm being generous, by the way, because there is evidence saying that it's the low end, 25 to 30,000 per 650. So I am being generous and I add 40,000 Max numbers to 650. So if you're pulling 465, you can do the math. What do you want me to give you? 20 to 25 tops is what I give you. And I bet you it's 10 to 15,000 that watched on Max, which would bring it to 480. But if you want me to be super generous and say that 25,000 people watched on Max, if you think that many people are watching Max, period, come on, man. But even if I give you 25, then what does that put him at? 490. Still thousands away from even hitting 500,000. That's unacceptable. And this isn't the holidays, man. This isn't Thanksgiving. This isn't Christmas. We can't use that excuse. It's the beginning of October. The middle of the work week. Kids are at school. Everybody is drained by that time. 8, 9 p.m. Everybody just wants to be entertained. Again, I'd love to tell you my New York Yankees did it. But no, if AEW is pulling 465, I don't care if the Super Bowl was going up against it. You have to find a way to pull more than 465. This is your 6-year anniversary show. That is downright depressing. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. They are 1 to 2 massive stories away from getting on track. They just have to find them, and it's not easy. If it was easy, WWE would have 10 of them at a time. But that NWO type storyline, right? The invasion of WCW and how organic it was and so how well done it was. Or Vince McMahon and Stone Cold. And the ultimate disruptor versus the authority storyline. Those things are not easy to come across. Even the Bloodline. The Bloodline, that was one of the last big stories that Vince McMahon did in collaboration with Paul Heyman. And it was well done, man. So even the Bloodline story, man, that reinvigorated a lot. And then, of course, Helmsley took over and destroyed all of that. But with Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman, man, that Bloodline story. But that's what I mean. That's what pro wrestling in general needs right now. WWE and AEW. That one, it'd be nice if there was a couple, but that one story where you say, it's no longer maybe I'll tune in next week. I have to tune in next week. It becomes what we call appointment television. And pro wrestling needs something like that at all times. They need that one, at least one story to make them think, yes, I have to watch this. I have to get that PLE. I have to see what happens next. The truth is, no matter which show you like more, I like WWE more, I like AEW more. The truth is, none of it has anything going for them right now. It's all garbage. And I say that because even if it's decent, or even if I think it's good, BC, it doesn't matter. Good doesn't cut it right now. We're beyond good. Nobody's clamoring for just good right now. Pro wrestling needs to captivate us like it used to. I'm done watching these shows and just going, well, I feel it flowed all right. I feel this was a decent show. I feel this was a good show. Right? That's how I'm supposed to start off every review. I thought this was a good show. I don't think it was a bad show. This wasn't. You know what? In fact, this was not a bad show. This wasn't a bad show. This was a good show. No, I'm not gonna sound like a dumbass. I'm past that. I don't care about good show, bad show anymore. When I do a review, I want to be amplified for all the right reasons in a quote positive way. I want to be going, what a show, man. Did you see that? I can't believe they just did that with Cody Rhodes. Did you see what Hangman Page did? And then Swerve at the end. I can't even believe they pulled that off. I had to watch it 12 times before I even cut this review. That's what we should be talking about. It's professional wrestling, man. It's pro wrestling. We don't have to play by the rules of, quote, reality. We can be outside the box, be out of bounds, and still in play. That's the benefit we have in pro wrestling. These promoters don't remember that. Paul Levesque, McMahon, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and Tony Khan. AEW's got a million issues right now, I'll tell you, but WWE is right there with them. WWE is pulling record low viewership. Smackdown down to a 1.2. No tape show, no holidays, just a 1.2 flat. Told you this was going to happen. Monday Night Raw just pulled a 2.3, lowest globally. 1.1 domestically, lowest. And lowest in hours viewed, 4.6 mil, down from 5.4. They lost nearly a million in hours viewed. Record lows. Because people are not buying the BS anymore. When The Rock tells you wrestling is cool, right? How many times did Dwayne Johnson tell you that wrestling is cool again? He said it about 1,000 times in the past year. When somebody has to tell you that something is cool nonstop, it's probably not cool. How many times has Cody Rhodes told you that we are in the best era of pro wrestling? In the past year alone, how many times has Cody Rhodes tried to sell us on a bag of goods? This is the best era ever in pro wrestling. When somebody has to tell you that nonstop, it's probably not the best era. And we all know, this era does not light a candle to any era in the past. When somebody has to call themselves main event, they're probably not the main event. It's probably why you hold the title for 2 months, like Jason Yeaterman. Which, not ironically, right, pretty straightforward, is one of the big reasons why you're seeing record low viewership, because for the entire year, they tried to push Jason Yeaterman as the top guy in WW. The problem is he's mid-card tag team Jason Uso. You're not fooling anybody. Because he's got 4 letters, 1 word, no. Yeet. Because kids dance with him and he pats him on the head and he picks him up and he dances like he's at a Chuck E. Cheese. Do you understand? Are you comprehending? Did you let that digest yet? That you just spent the better part of this year in WWE pushing Jey Uso. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble over people like CM Punk and Jonathan Cena. Jason Uso, Jey Yeaterman, the tag team guy. He won the Royal Rumble. He then went to WrestleMania and he tapped out Gunther in 8 seconds. Remember, everybody thought Gunther was going to be this beast in the industry. He tapped out to his own move in 8 seconds to Jason Yeaterman, who beforehand and afterhand has been knocking people out with Roman Reigns spears all of a sudden. He's got superpowers. Jey Uso takes everybody's finisher 12 times and kicks out. Mid-card tag team Jey Uso has somehow become Superman. Can't beat him. Defeated Gunther, won the Royal Rumble, became world champion at WrestleMania. Jey Uso, all the while ratings going backwards. And when Helmsley was asked, well, why did you do all of that? He said, well, we had a focus group. And the focus group went into all the arenas that we were in, and they said, hey, the kids and the families like to yeet. So he said, you know what? I'm gonna put the rocket on you, kid. Well, they like to go, yeah, too, but you never wanted to give LA Knight the time of day. He was too old for Helmsley. He's in his 40s. He's over the hill. He could break down at any moment. Meanwhile, Jey Uso couldn't even get over the top rope. He's fallen on his head. He's winded when he tries to cut a promo. Jey Uso, which, by the way, if you're new to the channel, is one half of my favorite tag team, the Usos. But individually, Jey Uso's one of the worst wrestlers I saw in recent memory. He sucks on his own. My favorite tag team. So that's how you know I'm giving you honesty. But damn, did he suck on his own. And by the way, if you wanted proof of that, if you wanted to know just how honest BC is, if you do unfortunately catch the show Unreal that WWE produced at Netflix, that's what they're even saying backstage. There's actually an episode where Helmsley and Michael P.S. Hayes and Bruce Pritchard in Suits and Ties, they're actually doubting themselves because they see that Jey Uso, he can't handle the pressure. Like, that's not just some storyline. That was happening in real time. That was right after he almost fell on his head. And they heard that he was winded in his promos. And his own father, Rikishi, his own father said, we were at dinner and he just looked exhausted. He looked exhausted at dinner, says his own father. And this was at the beginning of his push, guys. He hadn't even seen all the media that he has to do, all the responsibilities, the type of matches that are still to come. His own family was saying he looked exhausted. The Suits and Ties, including Helmsley, were saying, did we make the wrong decision? And BC was like, you think? If you want to push the dude, that's fine. As a mid-carder, give him an IC title, give him a US title, and let him go as far as he can go until the stupid word yeet runs its course, and we'll see where we are at. Or just keep him in the damn tag team and have him and Jimmy come out to the stupid yeeting and have him dance with the kids like it's a Chuck E. Cheese. 2 clowns for the price of 1 at that point. But of course the yeeting wasn't going to work. Why everyone's dancing and the families that pay $10,000 a person and all the kids are dancing and yeeting. What do you think everybody at home is doing? Do you think they're jumping off their couch yeeting with the live audience? Do you honestly think grown adults are just going, yeet, yeet? Thompson dinner, hold on, Mom, yeeting, yeet. Do you think everybody's at home just yeeting their asses off? No, what they were doing was changing the channel. So ratings were going lower and lower the more they paraded Jason Uso out there. It's not rocket science. Fans at home were becoming pissed off. Why? Because Hunter Hearst Helmsley went by focus groups in the arena. You never do that. You raised all the prices to a certain demographic. So you got all these families coming out that are willing to sing along with anybody. Seth Rollins is a heel. They don't care. They're going to sing to Seth's song. Oh, and the second Cody Rhodes comes out, they'll be like, oh, Cody Rhodes. CM Punk comes out, they're going to start singing Cult of Personality. Randy Orton comes out, I hear voices in the sewer. They say to me, it's smelly in here. They're going to sing anything. They'll sing, they'll chant, this is awesome, 75 times a match. It could be a 3-minute match. It could be boring. It could suck. Half the match is them running around chasing each other, and they'll yell, this is awesome. You're in the participation era. They're showing up, paying 20 times what they paid 3 years ago, and they just want to participate. And that's the focus group that you're running around. You didn't want to maybe think, what are the people at home thinking? What's the rest of the world doing when we're yeeting for 20 minutes inside the arena? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're going in shock by how bad the product is. Having an aneurysm, a stroke. Pounding down NyQuil. Picking up a bad habit, throwing ourselves into traffic or through a brick wall. That's what we're doing while you're eating for 20 minutes inside the arena. You wonder why you're seeing record low viewership. But he calls himself the main event. Yeah. When somebody has to call themselves that, they're probably not. When somebody has to sell you that wrestling's cool again, it's probably not right now, unfortunately. When somebody has to try to tell you time and time again that we're in the best era, we're probably not. When they have to tell you 1,000 times that this guy is an unpredictable badass, he's most likely not. Maybe he's a badass, but he's not unpredictable. Maybe he's unpredictable, but he's not a badass. So why are you seeing record lows, right? What's the purpose of this entire opening monologue? Fans have had enough. There is no interest in professional wrestling right now. That's a problem. Because you listening to this probably love pro wrestling, or at least at one time. Because I know there's a lot of you that have already told BC, I had to stop. It got so bad, BC, I just stopped. But I still check in on BC, man. I still listen to your reviews. I still listen to your podcasts. I still listen to Amped Up on the daily. I still catch your reviews, BC. I still show that love. I still show that support. Thank you. But I'm pretty sure that every one of you still want to love pro wrestling, and if it was just good again, you would come back maybe. Like BC, I love this. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. Now, for these recordings, for these reviews, for these amped up shows, for this channel, I turn it up, no question. We get amplified for entertainment purposes, but every single word that I speak is nothing but amplified honesty. Don't get it twisted. We want to see this get better. Everybody is finally starting to wake up and realize, oh wow, it is bad. Oh wow, it's been bad for a long time. Oh wow, BC wasn't just being negative. Right? I can't tell you how many people have come across the channel in the past. Well, this guy's just being harsh. He's extra harsh and negative. And now they're coming back and they're like, BC, man, all apologies, dude. You were right all along. I am now an Amplified Unit subscriber or an Amplified Unit member. Welcome. We all make mistakes. Welcome. At least you realized it, and now you're ready to rectify it. You're ready to try to help these companies actually become great again. Because that's what we need to do. Be honest. This is not good, guys. Everybody is pulling in record lows. Stop with the excuses. Oh, it's around that time of the season, bees. It's early October. It's not the holidays, not even close. BC baseball playoffs, BC the Super Bowl, BC the national championship, BC it's a holiday, BC it's my grandmother's birthday. There's always an excuse. BC was a tape show. BC there was a delay. BC they were out of the country. No, these are bad no matter what. These are just drastically, tragically bad numbers. As in, even if all of that wasn't the case, they're still already bad. So bad that they cannot afford a holiday at this point. They cannot afford a championship game or your grandmother's birthday. Because that'll totally knock them out, which is what is happening. That's how bad the numbers are before all of your excuses. NXT 500K sem-odd this week. AEW 400K sem-odd. Raw, domestically 1 point sem-odd. Globally 2 point sem-odd. Smackdown 1.2. Smackdown! Record lows. Wrestling is cool again, says The Rock. 0.09 demo for AEW Dynamite. That's your 18 to 49. 0.09. For something to be cool, I would hope that you have the 18 to 49-year-olds. Because they may be the ones to make it cool. Maybe. That is your opening monologue, man. It went a while because it needs to be said. It'd be nice if there was more honesty in the community, but the truth is most of these personalities are just trying to get a job with one of these promotions. So they're trying to stay on their good side. And others are just trying to make a quick buck by putting on a facade and telling you that there's more ups than downs on these shows. Even though the numbers are calling them complete liars. SmackDown 10/3/2025, a show that starts off with Codithan Rhodes and Randall Orton, along with the Vision, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. As one of the most pointless promos or segments in general in the history of WWE, nothing of substance was said. And that's not just an opinion on this, that's not just a hot take or how I see it. This was factually what happened in this segment. Nothing. Oracle just said, and I quote, Orton, you know if Cody loses in the tag match later tonight, that you'll think to yourself, I'd be a better champion. And then Heyman and the Bronze just leave, and the segment is over. If that was supposed to plant seeds of doubt or distrust between Rhodes and Orton, a rare epic fail by Paulito Heyman. The crowd was not sports entertained. In fact, they were rather confused. Just a bad, lazy, unacceptable opening to a show that desperately could have used a spark to ignite a pulse to an otherwise depleted program. Still, the next morning, I'm still trying to fathom who thought that was okay to go out and do that segment. And I know Paul Levesque McMahon signed off on it, BC. Even if it wasn't his idea, because he doesn't have any ideas, he just signs off on it. Paul Heyman is still a part of it. You would think Paul Heyman would have realized, wait, this is really bad. The good news is it was rather short. So it was over pretty quickly. That's what she said. It was over pretty quickly. But that also made it more weird too, because it was like you blinked, you missed it, but you realize like nothing happened. What was that all about? Just an odd opening to this show. Backstage, Mello breaks up with Miz. I mention that because the next segment kind of has to do with that. Well, not kind of. It absolutely has to do with that. So Miz is like, what? You're breaking up with me? And Mello's like, yes, it's over. You never sent me any flowers. And your cards weren't from Hallmark. You cheapo. So Mello breaks up with Miz. Now, Sami Zayn then comes out for another bootleg John Cena Open challenge. I am so done with these Sami Zayn Open challenges because I know it's 20 minutes of filler. It's just go out there and have a good wrestling match. Make them scream, "This is awesome." That's it. I know when we're about to do an open challenge that this is going to lead to nothing. That this is all just an easy 20 minutes to fill up TV time. And what do you want me to... But BC, the matches, man, Sami Zayn is having such good matches. That's not the issue! If you think that is what is missing in my life, Sami Zayn matches. When I wake up, I go, I need Sami Zayn matches. If you think I'm thinking, oh, SmackDown tonight, man, Sami Zayn's open challenge. He's going to have a banger, isn't he? Another Sami Zayn match. How many Sami Zayn matches do you need? That's not what is missing. And I know when I see a Sami Zayn come out for an open here we go. 20 minutes of Sami Zayn wrestling in a wrestling match. And when it's all said and done, Sammy wins, he keeps his title, and what? I go, wow, what a match, man, him and Javon. What a match, him and Rey Fenix. What a match, him and Aleister Black. What a match, him and the Blue Power Ranger. What a match, him and Donatello of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, I don't need any Sami Zayn matches. It's a bootleg version of what John Cena did. He's not John Cena. John Cena did this, and you were captivated. John Cena, you could easily say, was larger than life to so many. Would I put him in Hogan or Austin category? No. But many people do, man, and it's John Cena. The name value is there for a reason, many reasons. When John Cena's doing an open challenge, you're invested in it. For many reasons. When Sami Zayn's doing it, you're just like, oh, why did the Home Depot let him leave early? It's average Sami. He's rather annoying. The way he's booked is annoying. They always have him in everybody else's business. Because he never has anything going on. And that remains true to this day. He still doesn't have anything going on. They put a title on him, and they're like, go out there every week and just have wrestling matches. And they want you to feel like... It's the same thing they did with Seth Rollins. Remember when they made the second world title a few years ago? And they tried to make it... Because Roman was holding the other one hostage. That was the Vacation Championship. So then they created a new one. Because Roman was never showing up. That's what happened. And then Seth said, I'm going to win it, and I'm going to be the working champion. Right? I'm going to be the workhorse champion, and this is going to be the workhorse title. So they really, and this is when Seth really was trying to get some fan reaction back. The company was really trying to get the fans to be invested in Seth. It just wasn't working. And this was before the whole new theme song, right? If you get a catchy theme, they'll jump on board. But they were trying everything, man. They're like, Seth is going out there and he's having great wrestling matches every week. It didn't work. Nobody cared. They're doing it with Sami Zayn now every week. See? He's such a fighting champion. Yeah. And so many don't care at all. No. That might be a hot take for a lot of you. Wow, but you see, I wasn't expecting this. I thought you were going to say, what a match between Sammy and Aleister. I don't care. If I want really great wrestling solely, I'll just go to the local bingo hall. I ain't got to wait till a Friday night in prime time. We used to get John Cena open challenges. Now in the middle or the end of 2025, we're getting Sami Zayn open challenges. Do you see the problem with that? We are demoting all of this. We're regressing. We're going backwards in everything. We went from Hogan and Austin, Rock, Taker, to who? Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. John Cena open challenges to Sami Zayn. No, I can't wait till that's done. But you know the issue? The issue is that this is all a setup to get Sami Zayn to the world title. So this dude is going to win the world title at a WrestleMania coming up. We think it's going to be this upcoming, but because they're going to Saudi in 2 WrestleManias, they could do it there. But Sami Zayn is going to have his Jey Uso moment. Imagine that. That is what we have to look forward to when wrestling is in need of a spark, of a pulse. Sami Zayn is going to be your future world champion. That says everything you need to know about why WWE is in the toilet right now. Anyway, back to this. Sami Zayn's out for his John Cena bootleg open challenge. Mello accepts. Mello comes out, says he wants to have another. He already had his champ, but hey, we'll do a rematch, right? Not so fast. The Miz gets him from behind, hits him with a skull-crushing finale in the aisleway. So the Miz was like, I shouldn't have to buy you flowers, and a card should be good enough. It should not have to be from Hallmark. So Mello gets taken out, and Aleister Black then comes out and accepts the open challenge. Damian Priest, I guess, just I blinked. I don't think he did much. I don't think he laid his hands on him. I don't believe. I think it was like a distraction and that was it. But either way, it wasn't much. Damian Priest distracts Black for the finish, and Zayn hits Blue Thunder for the W. Post-match, Priest delivers Razor's Edge to Black through the commentary table. So Black is laid out as Priest walks off smiling. So that's conclusion right there, right? I mean, if there's real animosity after you Razor's Edge, you're throwing some more boots, some more punches, right? Suits and ties are going to have to break you up. But Priest did his business, left him laying there for a count of 200 probably, and he walked off smiling. How stupid is Paul Levesque McMahon? It's rhetorical. Incredibly. That's the answer. Incredibly. Black took out Priest with black masses in the past, and the big payoff was that. That's the payoff? Because make no mistake, that is a payoff. The face got their revenge. So there's no need to see a match. Why would the face get a complete receipt? Because that's a complete receipt. Cost him the match. Cost him a title, and then Razor's Edged him, left him laying out, and walked off smiling. That's it. He got his full receipt. Now, later in the show, a match was made for next week. Last man standing. Well, for what? Do you see what I'm saying? Subconsciously, the fan doesn't need to see it anymore because they just saw the face get their ultimate revenge, because that is ultimate revenge. The only thing that can happen now, or if you're a fan and you're cheering for the face, is that you see the exact same thing that you just saw. Where Aleister Black is laid out for more than 10 seconds, which he was last night, and Priest walks off smiling. So the best that you can hope for by seeing this matchup next week is the same thing you just saw. Because the only other thing is Priest is laid out and Black walks off. Why would you put Priest in that situation? It's just bad booking. That's the whole thing here is it is bad, but it is horrible booking. And this is why I named Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon, the worst booker of all time. No matter what you thought about Hulk Hogan booking some WCW or some Kevin Nash, or how you feel about Shawn Michaels in NXT, or TNA's booking, or AEW, and how bad Tony Khan is dropping the ball and fumbling and throwing interceptions. Ain't nobody worse than Paul Levesque McMahon, because this dude's totally lost with zero ideas. And I feel going out of his way to sabotage the industry. Because if that's not the case, if Helmsley is not going out of his way to sabotage all of this, then you're telling me he's literally one of the dumbest people on the planet. And damn, that would suck! Sol Ruca and Zarya from NXT defeat Chelsea Green and Alba Fire in a quick 4-minute matchup. Ruca hits the Soul Snatcher, one of my favorite finishers in the industry, by the way. But Ruca hit the Soul Snatcher on Chelsea for the win. Again, this was quick, about 4 minutes. And you could tell most of that crowd had no idea what an NXT is or who's in NXT. They didn't know what NXT is and who's in it. Because all you got afterwards was a golf clap. Well, half of them. Some gave a golf clap. Most were still asking, who are they again? Even when the match was concluded, you see everybody kind of going, all right, I don't know what that was. My veteran subscribers know I'm a big supporter of Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca is one of the best talents in the industry. She just gets it naturally. And I guess from what I hear, she wasn't even a fan growing up. Didn't know much about pro wrestling. She just gets it naturally. She's just one of those individuals. She just gets it. Like a Kurt Angle, you know? She's just so good. And some of the things she does in that ring, I've never even seen. And by now, you think you've seen it all. Over and over again. The tag team with Zarya, there's times where I'm like, all right, you know, they have some decent chemistry. It's just so, it doesn't mesh. It's two completely different characters, and I know you're going to say, well, BC, that's the point. It's the whole opposites attract thing. It's like Kane and Daniel Bryan, BC. I'm not seeing it. I don't. Sol Ruca in a tag team is just weird to me. But that's what they're doing. Anyway, this was a quick 4-minute match. I guess you had a mesh of NXT wrestlers on there, Raw wrestlers. They were promoting TNA at one point. I mean, it was a weird meshmash of talent on this SmackDown. And backstage, they have, if we want to stick with the ladies, backstage they have Alexa doing Charlie Flair's woos. That's right. Alexa and Charlie doing a promo, and Alexa is wooing. It is tragic that this is how they are booking Alexa Bliss. The reaction she got when she returned, and they're using her as training wheels for Charlie Flair. She has to hold Charlie's hand to try and get her over. WWE doesn't care if they ruin Alexa's momentum in the process. They'll sacrifice the entire division for Charles Flair. We're actually going to stick with the ladies. We're going into, was this hour 2? I think we were heading hour 2 at this point. This was a contract signing between Steph V and Tiffy Time for Crown Jewel. This was beyond the spectrum of stupidity. None of their titles are on the line. There's a company ring, you know, the stupid ring that you get if you win this match, and a giant toy title that is for pitchers only, mind you. The title doesn't travel with them. That does not, it probably wouldn't even get through airport security. So you get a giant toy title that's for photo ops, and you get to put a ring on your finger. The company made this match already. So there'd be no reason for a contract signing. There's no champion agreeing to a match. The company already made it. They just have zero story between them, and they're too lazy to come up with anything. So send Nicholas Aldis out there and call it a contract signing. Well, BC, you're thinking something big must have happened, right? You're funny, you got jokes. Something big happened. This is what actually happened. Julia and Kiana James come out, and they get beat up by the faces. They attack Tiffany in the aisleway first. They talk crap to Stephanie as if Tiffany was never going to get up. All they did was hit her a few times, and then they went to the ring to talk crap to Stephanie as if that was going to knock Tiffany out till next Friday. And that was it. They get beat up by the faces, and then they just stare at each other. Like, wow, you're badass, Steph. And Steph's looking at Tiffany like, well, you're badass too. And this is what I mean. When you use contract signings so frequently in placement that it has no business being placed in, you're devaluing it. You're overusing something that is supposed to be meant for something special. A contract signing is something special. These days, they throw it out there whenever they have nothing. A matchup with no actual title on the line. A ring and a toy title photo op. That needed a contract signing? This is what I mean. This is not fun. It's not good TV. It's not a good show. They're just doing things. They're doing random things. What is fun with that segment? What is fun? What fun did you have? Wow, did you see Kiana and Julia? Man, they came out, they talked crap to Stephanie, but they didn't know Tiffany was up behind them. And wow, they got punched and kicked. And then we went into the Crown Jewel promo. Yeah, that was amazing. I just know BC is going to talk about how epic that segment was. Rey Fenix and Javon Evans defeat Humberto and Garza. This is hilarious. They just substituted Javon Evans for Andrade. You probably already forgot that Phoenix and Andrade were stuck together in tag team purgatory beforehand. So Andrade was expendable to them for many reasons. They boot Andrade to the side and they're just like, bring over Javon Evans. Nobody will know the difference. Another random tag team. Another random match. And another golf clap after the finish. And by the way, 0. This is awesome. I didn't even hear one in the Sami Zayn match, by the way. The open challenge. I mean, that's what they're hoping for, right? The This Is Awesome chants. Much credit to that crowd. I didn't hear many of them last night. Maybe in the main event, there was like 1 or 2 that were trying to get started. But I heard none. And Javon Evans is in there doing all his Javon Evans things, right? They call him Bouncy Evans. Wow, that's that'll be a shirt if it's not already. Let's get bouncy. Timmy, Joey, we're going to Target. Come on, get in the car. Hold on, Ma, I gotta get my bouncy shirt. This is Bouncy. Bouncy Evans, he's in there bouncing all around, doing all his high flying. Yes, Humberto and Gar, everybody's doing their spots. And thankfully, the crowd was like, all right, seen it a million times. It's about time that starts happening, man. It's about time fans are going, you know what? This isn't awesome. They're doing a bunch of gymnastics that we've seen for years and years. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't awesome. Hilarious backstage segment. This was the best. I said this on Raw. It was a quick backstage segment on Raw that I felt was the best. And it was just Becky Lynch walking up to Maxine Dupree and Tozawa and just beating them up. It was just, and then she just goes over to Seth like nothing. And Seth is so sincerely is like, you feel better now? And Becky's like, yeah, I do. It was just, I don't know why. It just made BC laugh. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins together is the best part of Raw, I feel. Did I think I'd be saying that at the top of the year? No. Did I have that on the bingo card? No. But on Monday Night Raw, that was the best segment. It was a little 1-minute Becky Lynch segment. And for SmackDown, it's kind of the same thing. The best part of the show was a quick little minute segment backstage. Kathy Kelly interviewing Damian Priest. And one of the members from Pretty Deadly, I think it was Kit Wilson. And he's in a wheelchair. I think it might be the same dude that was put through the wall last week, and that's how he ended up in the chair, possibly. If I'm getting that together. But Kit Wilson rolls up in his wheelchair, and Damian Priest takes him and rolls him down the long ramp, the loading ramps that they have in every arena. So all you hear is, ah! And all of a sudden you just hear all of this clanging and banging and things breaking and falling. And it kept going for like 30 seconds. So it's like the illusion, like how long is this ramp or how far is he going before he finally comes to a stop? I mean, if you're like social media or anything, WWE could have a lot of fun with this. Like Kit Wilson is still going. And you make these memes and stuff of Kit Wilson in traffic and he's still rolling down with his wheelchair. He's rolling down a hill. You can have a lot of fun with that, man. That popped BC. That was actually funny. Kit Wilson just gets rolled down the ramp. I mean, that's funny. And the wall last week. You know, little things like that, man. They may seem little, but there's effort at least, right? They had to get a dummy wall, it's called, so that a wrestler can go through it. I wish they leaned on that more, laid on it. Sat on that, right? That should have been a whole 5-minute segment. A wrestler just got put through a wall. You could have people coming over, all concerned, cameras trying to look. I mean, pan over to the wall that just broke. Instead, it was like 15 seconds. Then they're just like, Brock Lesnar and John Cena had a match at the Palooza. It's the recapping that. I'm like, what are you doing? Lean on that. A wrestler just got put through a wall. Anyway, Kit Wilson through a wall, and now he's, for all we know, he's still rolling somewhere. And I gotta say, too, Monday Night Raw, they were heavily promoting Monday Night Raw way more than usual. If you guys have been catching my amped up shows on the daily, you guys know we've been talking about this extensively. Netflix is furious at WWE. And I've been saying for the longest time, they have to be furious with these type of numbers. But just last week, getting those reports that executives are not happy, that's what I was waiting for. Them to start speaking out. Because I knew they were furious. But unless they start really making that known into WWE, not just us, WWE's not going to do anything. They already got your money. They're cashing the Netflix checks. They don't care. So I told you guys in recent uploads, I said, they're pressuring WWE from what I'm hearing. They're pissed off. And Netflix isn't like Fox or NBC Universal where they let WWE walk over them. Netflix is going to punch back. You better give them what they paid for. Netflix is not going to let that slide. So Netflix was pressuring WWE from what I was hearing. And now you're seeing all of this promotion. Several times last night about Monday Night Raw and hyping up Roman Reigns, right? A lot of us believe that Roman Reigns is coming back sooner than he was supposed to because Netflix is pissed. So they were promoting Roman Reigns coming back. They were promoting CM Punk heavily. Several commercials, several hype packages, way more than usual. This goes right with the reporting that I gave you guys, man. Netflix is pissed. And I knew it was only a matter of time. Then it was the main event, Cody and Randy versus the Bronze. Bronson pins Randy Orton. And that was via Tsunami, by the way. The finish was damn near perfection. Orton goes for an RKO, but Rollins comes out of nowhere with a stomp out of nowhere. Slips right in the ring, and Sethington hits the stomp. Referee's back was turned for some reason. But I thought it was well done. And then, of course, the subsequent tsunami for the pin. They had to win this match, right? I was thinking the whole time, like, there's no way. I know it's Cody and Randy. But they're established beyond established. The Brawns, man, if they lose this match, they're done. There's nothing else you can really do. We've seen them get beat up a million times. We've seen them lose every which way possible. Like, if they're going to be anything formidable going forward, they have to find a way to win this match. And creatively, it was simplistic, nothing over the top. But it was well done. And then after the matchup, because Rollins already stomped Randy Orton, who ate the pin. But in the aisleway, Seth is giving that look like he wants to go and give Cody a stomp. Paul Heyman is trying to talk him out of it. Don't do it. He's getting in your head. Don't do it. And Seth is like, nah, I'm doing it. And he pushes Paul Heyman aside and he runs back and he goes to deliver a stomp to Cody. But Cody saw it coming in his peripheral. So Cody dodges it, puts him into a crossroads, locks him in, and delivers it right on his dome piece. Takes out Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman is backing up the Brawns. Don't make the same mistake that Seth just did. He's trying to tell them, no, you stay back. I tried to tell Seth. I knew this would happen. In case you're wondering, it's the doofus son-in-law that produced the show. Record low ratings. Attendance is going backwards. No more consistent sellouts. Record low merchandise. Record low social engagement. Record low interest in the product. Record lows, and doofus son-in-law is tagging his name on everything. Hey, it's me. I am bringing in record lows. Oh, we know, Paul Levesque, McMahon, Hunter Hearst, Helmsley. We know. You ain't got to tell everybody. We already know that you're the reason WWE is in the toilet. But if you're looking for some semblance of positivity, at least the main event, I feel everybody was protected for the most part. It was well done. It's the best I can give you. It's not a matchup I needed to see or will ever talk about if I didn't have a channel like this where we had to talk about it. No, I am not looking forward to Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes again, where Seth is probably going to win the next 3, and this will lead to a 7th matchup, and they'll act like it's the World Series or the NBA playoffs, right, where it's a best of 7. No, I don't need to see any of it. It's not what pro wrestling needs right now. There's a lot of what is needed in pro wrestling, and I feel these promoters are not understanding that or don't want to put in the energy, the time, the effort, the thought into what it is going to take to get pro wrestling back on track. And this is a WWE problem and an AEW problem. And if everybody for a damn minute will put their tribalism aside, maybe we can all come together and help make this shit better again. Until next time. And there will be that next time. Unit. BC and I'm out. Check ya. Salute.